Good morning and afternoon and whenever you are watching this video relevant to your time zone. This is Avian from the wonderful planet Earth. I was going to say something else then but I got a bit lost. Hope everyone's got a drink. Going to go through some basic words. Make sure you check out the picture that I'm going to upload. There's a JPEG on the description. It's basically going over the wards, where you put them, but I'm going to show you where in game you place them.
Asleep in the middle of the bed.
First of all, we'll say if we're warding defensively, and I'll let you interpret where you ward if you're on the red side or the purple side, depending if you play on colorblind mode or not. So, the first place, if you're playing extremely defensively in your blue lane, you could ward there, but I tend to ward here. The reason is if you ward right where I'm standing, right there, you've got vision of 4 different ways. It's a pretty nice ward. You can even put a pink ward there. If you were to put it here where I'm standing, you wouldn't be able to see around the other side, and consequently the same on this side. Make sure you get that ward in the right place, just on the edge there, okay? Next place, if you're playing a little bit more, sort of getting into the number 2 region as illustrated on the picture, you can put your ward about there. Now if you put it here, you can see 4 ways again. If you put it there, you can also just see the red buff. So it's up to you. If you want to put it a tiny bit lower, you can see around this corner, and obviously, you know, it makes the difference between a couple of seconds, which can save your life or not. When you're warding the red, I like to put the ward there because it lets you see around that corner, into the red buff, around there, and just towards the back there by the first try bush. So again, you should ward around here to protect your buffs, and ward there as well if you need to. Obviously a common place to ward, there's nothing wrong with it. If you ward there, you can see out into the lane, into there. You should ward this if you're playing defensively again. So getting into sort of the Drake wards and the mid-map awareness, don't ever put a ward where I'm standing because you can't see into the sort of Wraith camp area, into the mid lane, but you can see down here quite well. Make sure you put the ward right on the corner of the bush there, and that allows you to see, if you see, both this way, into the start of the river and back there. It's a much better place to ward. You get more vision with what you've spent. The most common mistake I see warding this bush in this game, if you ward it here, this is the vision that you're going to get. If you were to ward it at the very top, this is the vision that you're going to get. So you can see into these 3 ways, this way, and just a little bit back here. But if you were to ward just on the corner here, like this, you'd be able to see the entire bush, just into the river, and just there as well. It's a much better place to ward. Don't ward at the top, or don't ward right into the wall. Try and ward it there. You get the most for your money. There's nothing wrong with warding these brushes. One of the most important things I'll ever tell you is, if you're playing mid, make sure that you have a ward to put in this area, because their jungler will come and gank bot down here, and he'll get a kill if your bot's pushing there and they haven't got the tri-bush warded. And you don't want to be is a bot lane pushing and have to react when the jungler's there. It's much safer for mid lane to put it there, and then you can get away a long time. And it also protects them invading your red buff, because your mid lane should also have a ward here. So let's talk about the dragon wards. When you're playing against a dragon, you always want a pink. Place it just on the tip of the bits of wood. It lets you see into the pit, into the river. If you're purple side, that's a good place to ward. This is a good place to ward, and the tri-bush is a good place to ward if you're doing Drake. If you have extra wards, there's nothing wrong with them in here and here. If you have to contest the dragon in a team fight, it stops the enemy running into places of darkness and carrying you around. A nice little trick, if you're playing on the red side and you want to ward the tri-bush from the dragon pit, put your cursor on the wood, put it just on top of where the arrow is facing to the sky, you can see on my cursor, and just click, and it'll go into the tri-bush, and it stops you running up to it this way and face checking it, and you might kill yourself, whatever. When you're laning, there's nothing wrong with warding these bushes. As a support player, I often keep a pink ward, for this brush, especially if I'm playing Tarek, Blitzcrank, or Sona or Lulu, whoever, because you want to get harassed without them seeing that you're going to do it. You want to pull them, whatever. And the same goes if you're pushing all day. Pink this one because they can't see you in there, and that makes your life a lot easier to catch them by surprise. Um, so if you're playing against a Shaco and you're the blue side, a little tip I have is to ward here, just over the wall, because then you can see when he's going to come over and gank you. And so yeah, ward there. If you're on the blue side and you're in a bit of trouble and you need to get a ward down here, if you click there on the tree, just there, in between the two trees there, you'll put a ward in that bush, and that sort of keeps you safe in this region. If you're under your first tower. So say you're pushing into area 4 and you're invading their blue bus, don't ward here because this is the only vision you'll get. Don't ward here because you'll only get this vision. If you put a ward here, you get all of the same. You get all of the vision. So put the ward just on the corner in line with sort of where the trees are, and that's the vision you'll get. It's much better comparison to what we had there and what we had there. If you're really pushing hard and you're a bot lane, try and get your support to ward here. Keeps you a little bit extra safe. If they have an Eve on their team, put a pink ward down there, put a pink ward down there, whatever you want. Just if they have an Eve, your mid lane can pink the mid and stop them. Stop her just coming and killing you. She's pretty big in the pre-season patch, so make sure you pink up. Next up is warding here. If you're pushing again, just when you put a ward in this bush ever, put it there, because if you put it here, you'll not see there. If you put it there, you'll not see here, and it's just there if you get vision into this area, back here, and around there. So the same goes for the bot side. If you're warding your own jungle, you can put wards here, 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 and that's it. So remember, you can ward there, through there, and the Drake. The same goes for the Baron, but I haven't really figured out how to do it yet. If you just click just above like the leaves there, you can ward the Tribush from the Baron pit. Your red again, just outside. When you fight around Baron, generally you're going to be contesting it, so I make sure that they have no vision anywhere. So I make sure this is pinked, and I often have as many of these bushes as I can warded in the correct places. There on the corner here, not there, just right there in the corner, right there on the corner. You can ward this bush again on the corner because it maximizes the vision round here, around there. You're going to do your Baron, and they think, oh, okay, it's time to fight in the river. Get the river bushes warded. Get a ward in there. It doesn't have to be pink. Just get a ward in the right place. Get a ward in there, and it stops them just jumping in and out of the pockets of vision, which can mean the difference of killing an enemy and not. If you're really pushing hard, consider warding there and there, just over the wall. It's up to you. If you've got a Blitzcrank on your team, it's incredibly useful. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with warding a tower when it dies. You can keep the vision. I've become quite a fan lately of just sticking a pink in the middle of a lane, especially mid, and it just covers all this area, and it can provide sort of just a root point of vision. There's nothing wrong with warding a tower when it's died, as I've said, and that's about it. And if you're on the red team, the wards apply the same way. So don't forget your little tricks. If you ward up on the leaves here, you'll get in the Tribush. If you ward here against these trees, you'll get in this bush. And if you click there, just on top of the banner there, you'll ward in the Tribush. Some really little cool tricks to potentially save you when you know the enemy's there and you can't face check and all those other things. So I really hope that's helped. Stay tuned. There'll be loads more guides coming out, especially for those in the support role. It's my favourite role, as some of you may know. And hopefully, if you have any sort of tips on how to improve the videos or what you'd like to see, please leave a comment below and let me know. Hit subscribe if you want to see that content that I'll try and get out there for you, and I hope I've taught you something, okay? All the links that I've referred to, the JPEG image and things, are in the description below. And other than that, have a good one and a good start to 2013. Aves out.